Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the John Campea Show here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an honor and a privilege to have you guys joining me here today, as it is every day. Didn't have a show over the weekend. I'm back from my birthday weekend. Today is my actual birthday. Special thank you to all you guys who've been sending in well wishes. We're going to talk about our favorite things here, movies and movie news. So without any further ado, guys, let's jump right into it. And the first topic today, you knew this would be the first topic today, comes to us from Heston M Roberts, who writes, longtime follower here with one simple question. Well, I often find questions are never that simple, no matter how simple people think they might be. Okay, with one simple question. With Black Panther, $500 million in the bank in less than a week, and actually this email was written on Friday, so that's a little bit out of date. Could Black Panther dethrone the Avengers as the highest grossing comic book film ever? Would love to hear your reasoning as to why or why not. All right, thanks a lot for the question, Heston. And here we go. Black Panther had a tremendous second weekend at the box office. This weekend's box office came in, and it became, I believe, only the fourth or fifth film in history to crack $100 million on its second weekend. As a matter of fact, Black Panther became the second highest second weekend opening of all time. First, let's just look at the weekend box office. So Black Panther, you can see, came in here with $108 million on its second weekend. Now, here's an interesting number. It took a 46.5% drop. That's pretty good. But I had people asking me, saying, John, like, I was expecting Black Panther to take like a 20% drop or a 25% drop. Like, with all this positive word of mouth, why would it still drop 46%? And I keep trying to tell people, I was telling people this all last week when they would say to me, it's going to take a 15% drop, it's going to take a 20% drop. The more money a movie makes on its opening weekend, the more difficult it will be to have a small drop on the second weekend because everybody's rushed out to see it. So it was completely unrealistic to think Black Panther, with the opening that it had, over $200 million on its opening weekend, it was always unrealistic to think it was going to take a 20, 25, even just a 30% drop. That was unrealistic. It getting a 46.5% drop is a great number. That's a much better than normal, because normally you want to see 50 to 53% drop. For a movie that opened as big as it did, a 46.5% drop is fantastic. You see, Game Night did pretty well for its opening weekend. Annihilation came in with 11. Peter Rabbit held at 12. Jumanji finally drops out of the top 5. But I mentioned a little bit earlier that with this result, Black Panther now becomes the second biggest second weekend of all time, way behind a little film called Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Yes, but it did come in just a little bit ahead of Jurassic World. So it came in about $1.5 million ahead of Jurassic, 1.4 million ahead of Jurassic World, ahead of Marvel's The Avengers for its second weekend, ahead of Beauty and the Beast, and ahead of Avengers Age of Ultron. That is a huge second weekend. Now, what makes this really interesting is you saw that it's just separated from Jurassic World by about $1.4 million, right? So super, super tight. Jurassic World and now Black Panther have become tied for the fastest, second fastest, of course, behind Star Wars: The Force Awakens, but the second fastest films in history to reach $400 million domestically. So that ties Jurassic World. So roughly, we're seeing that Black Panther right now is kind of on pace with Jurassic World. It's actually a little bit ahead of pace of Jurassic World, but for all intents and purposes, it's roughly tied, maybe just a little bit ahead of pace of Jurassic World. Okay, well, let's start now talking about all-time box office numbers, because you're asking, could Black Panther overtake Avengers as the biggest box office comic book movie of all time? Well, it's very possible. Let's take a look at this. Remember, we were just saying that right now, domestically speaking, Black Panther is kind of on pace with Jurassic World. Well, Jurassic World came in with a finishing number of $1.67 billion. That's ahead of the Avengers. Theoretically speaking, right now, Black Panther is on pace to pass the Avengers to become the #1 all-time comic book box office movie. Now, momentum is a strange thing. Just because it's on pace to pass it right now doesn't necessarily mean it will pass it. It's just on pace right now to pass it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will pass it. However, one of the things working in Black Panther's favor right now is that there is nothing significant opening against it till like March 16th. There is nothing that is coming out between now and March 16th that I would consider to be a box office threat. There's some interesting looking films coming out, definitely between now and the 16th, but nothing that I would consider a box office threat. So I believe you're going to see this pace hold up. And it looks like at this point, there's a very, very strong chance that Black Panther could pass the Avengers as the #1 box office comic book film of all time, which also means it has a possibility of passing Jurassic World. Now, could it catch Star Wars The Force Awakens? Could it join the $2 billion club? I don't know about that. It is behind pace to hit the $2 billion mark. So I'm still doubtful that we'll see Black Panther hit the $2 billion club. But as of right now, it is in really good position to catch that #4 spot away from Jurassic World. And, look, even at the Jurassic World pace, it's over $300 million still short of that Star Wars The Force Awakens number. That's over $300 million it would still need to make up. So something miraculous would have to happen for Black Panther to join the $2 billion club. But it is not outside of the realm of possibility at this point. Let's keep an eye on this as the situation becomes very intriguing with Black Panther. Very intriguing indeed. All right, let's move on now to topic number 2. And topic number 2 comes to us from Dedra Simpson. And Dedra writes, I've seen you talk about both MoviePass and Sinemia. So I was wondering if you've seen the story that MoviePass is suing Sinemia. I know you use both, so I wanted to know what you thought about it, and does it change the way you think about either service? All right, for those of you who didn't catch the news that broke in the last couple of days, MoviePass and Sinemia, they are similar services. They're movie, basically, clubs that you can join. You pay a monthly fee, you get X number of services for going to the movies. Great. MoviePass, which is a card I carry, and I use MoviePass. I like using MoviePass. Okay, let's be very clear about that. I think they're shady as hell. I think their CEO is a lying douchebag. I don't like the way they conduct business. I don't know that they're going to be in business for another year, but I like using the card. I mean, I'm a card-carrying MoviePass member, and I'm a card-carrying Sinemia card member as well. I think they're both great. They do different things, but I enjoy having both of them. MoviePass, so you've been hearing me say lately, more and more, I think they are a shady bunch of douchebags. I really do. I still use the service, but they are a shady bunch of douchebags, it seems to me. But whatever. So MoviePass has now launched a lawsuit against Sinemia, basically trying to crush any competition they may have using the courts. I guess they don't believe that they can beat competition just on their own in an open and free market, so they're going to try to beat them in the courts. It is a questionable decision by these guys to do this at this point. But basically, what's at the heart of it? Here's a report from Variety that's at the heart of this. The MoviePass app, so MoviePass is basically suing Sinemia, saying you're stealing all of our copyrights. The MoviePass app verifies that subscribers are at the theater using their phone's location data. MoviePass also uses a subscription card to redeem tickets. Sinemia's app and card operate in such a similar fashion that they infringe on patents, MoviePass urges. So let me get this straight. MoviePass, you just access people's phones' GPS. You didn't create a GPS system for knowing where the customers are. All your app does is tap into the GPS location that's already built in the phone. And you don't think another service should be allowed, like millions of other apps do? You don't think another service should be allowed to access the GPS information on a phone? Millions of apps do that. You did not create the GPS system, MoviePass, in phones. Also, they argue, MoviePass uses a membership card and Sinemia does too. Oh my God, hold the phones. There's a service that has a membership card? What? Nobody else can have membership cards. And besides, your membership card isn't even a membership card. You signed a contract with MasterCard. Those are MasterCards that you just put your label on that says MoviePass, but it's a MasterCard. Are you telling me nobody else anywhere uses membership cards or uses their own variations of a MasterCard or a Visa for their service? It's absolutely preposterous. Anyway, let's keep reading this Variety story here. We move on down to the second paragraph. This is from MoviePass. Sinemia's infringement has harmed MoviePass's existing customer relationships, has harmed MoviePass's ability to obtain new customers. Remember that line, guys. Has harmed MoviePass's ability to obtain new customers. Okay, really? We'll get to that in a second. And form new customer relationships. And has harmed MoviePass's standing in the movie subscription marketplace, the lawsuit alleges. So basically, MoviePass is whining like a bunch of little bitches that, oh no, there's competition. Competition means you're hurting us. You bunch of whiny babies. Anyway, in that paragraph, one of the things they highlight is, they're affecting our ability to get new customers. Really? Really? Let's read the third paragraph, shall we? MoviePass is claiming that Sinemia is preventing them from getting new customers. Oh no! Let's read the third paragraph. MoviePass has exploded in popularity, going from 12,000 subscribers to 1.5 million subscribers in the course of 5 months, according to the suit. The service allows customers to see standard 2D movies per day for $9.95 per month. Oh no! Sinemia is stopping us from forming new customer relationships. You went from 12,000 subscribers to 1.5 million subscribers. Tell me again how Sinemia, accessing the GPS on a phone, which millions of apps do, and using a membership card has prevented you from getting new customer relationships at 1.5. This is what this is all about. MoviePass doesn't want a competitor. MoviePass just doesn't want a competitor. They believe they have a racket, and now they want to have a monopoly on that racket. It's like Sprint saying, wait a minute, we operate a phone service where people carry a device and they dial numbers and call a number. Nobody else should be allowed to do that. Copyright laws were not created to give people monopolies in an entire area of service. The movie kind of club servicing is a new and emerging thing, yes. MoviePass is one of the front runners, yes, and one of the forebearers of it all. Absolutely they are. But copyright laws do not exist to give you a monopoly and to kill any competition. Besides the fact that Sinemia, I've done videos on the differences between MoviePass and Sinemia before. Sinemia is materially a different service. MoviePass, you can go to a movie a day. You can't do that with Sinemia. Sinemia, you go to 1, 2, or 3 movies a month. MoviePass costs $9.95. Sinemia can cost upwards of $30. MoviePass, you can't see 3D movies or premium theater movies. The Sinemia, you can go to 3D movies or Preem or IMAX or Prime or other premier theater experiences. MoviePass, you can't order your tickets online for the most part. With Sinemia, you can. They function very, very, very differently. Are they both movie club services? Yes. But they operate so differently. And what we have here is simply a case of one company acting like a whiny little brat, being MoviePass, whining and complaining that they don't want anybody to be able to compete with them. They want to be the only people in this space. And that is not what copyright is for. Not to mention, your copyright claims are bogus. And I think any court's going to look at this and say, you can't claim a copyright on accessing the GPS information in a phone system. Now look, maybe there are some ways that Sinemia is intrinsically encroaching on some of MoviePass's IP. If that's true, okay, Sinemia needs to stop doing the specific things. But what is really at the surface here is MoviePass is trying to just shut down a competitor. They don't want to compete with them, they just want to get them shut down, so they can have no competition whatsoever. I personally prefer the Sinemia card. I love MoviePass. I use it. But this is something that they got to stop. They got to stop this. Because this company is looking more and more shady, more and more draconian, more and more like, basically they're looking more like a mafia hit squad. Look, you get their CEO getting on video saying, oh, the way we're going to make money is we're going to do some advertising to our customers. No. Your plan, which has always been, and I said this, go back 2 years to old videos I did 2 years ago at another show where I talked about this 2 years ago. MoviePass's strategy is simply this. They want to amass a huge user base so they can blackmail movie theaters into playing ball with them. and blackmail movie theater chains into giving them a cut of their concession stands, into giving them a cut of their ticket sales. And we've seen MoviePass start to tip their hand. We've seen them now starting to show what their real colors are. And look, you want to make that your strategy, fine, but then don't boldface lie to your consumers. Don't boldface lie to your customers, which is what this company does. This is a shady, shady company. And I still use the card because it gets me into a movie a day. I mean, so there's a hypocrisy there. Absolutely, for sure there is. But this is a shady company. And they are doing nothing. They do not respond to... I get complaints from you guys all the time. MoviePass doesn't respond to customer service requests. I've had an outstanding ticket for 3 or 4 weeks. They said I would get my card now. It took me 6 weeks. I canceled my card. I still am getting charged, blah, blah, blah. This is a shady company that does not know how to do business. And I'm going to use their card as long as I can because eventually they're just going to go out of business. I really hope they start changing their business practices and start acting a little bit, more reliable at any case. But this lawsuit just convinces me just how shady, underhanded, pathetic, and whiny this company is. And I'm still going to use their card. All right, let's move on to the third topic of the day. And the third topic today comes to us from Nathan Zapata. Speaking of movie clubs and movie cards, Nathan Zapata writes, "Today in the mail, I received a flyer for Cinemark's Movie Lover membership. For only $8.99 a month, you get a movie ticket a day, 20% off concessions, and you can share with a friend. With all of the controversy regarding the MoviePass and AMC, do you see other theater chains creating their own MoviePass-like deal?" All right, just to be clear here, Nathan, there is this new movie club at Cinemark, and it's not a bad deal. However, it's $8.99 per month. That doesn't get you a movie a day. That gets you one ticket to one 2D movie. All right? So that's one ticket. It gets you to one 2D movie per month. Now, it gets a little better, but even on its surface, considering like where I go to the movies around here, it costs me like $15, $16, $17 for one movie ticket. Okay. So let's say for an argument's sake, you live in a place with a Cinemark and the average ticket price of that Cinemark is say $13 a ticket. Okay, so let's say 13. This $8.99, so $9, right off the top, you've just saved $4. Now you get 20% off snacks. Let's say for argument's sake, you and your girlfriend go and you spend $20 on concessions, right? That's $4 more off. That's $4 more off. So now you save $4 on the movie ticket. You've saved another $4 on the concessions. That's $8 you've saved just like that. You just saved $8. Now, let's say you order your ticket online. There's like $1. Sometimes it's $1. Sometimes it's $2 service fee for buying your tickets online. They waive the service fee. Okay, let's say that waives another $1. Just right there, by getting this Cinemark Movie Club, you've saved $9. Not bad. Now, it doesn't get you a movie a day. However, it's still pretty good because here's what happens. You get the $8.99 ticket, right? But you also get to buy a second ticket for, let's say you want to take your girlfriend, you get to buy that second ticket for another $8.99. That's another $4 you've saved. You just saved another $4. And while that $8.99 per month doesn't get you one movie a day, but if you are a member, you get to go back to the movies again tomorrow if you want and buy your next ticket for just $8.99. So it's not $8.99 a month, but every time you buy a ticket, you're saving $4 and you're saving 20% on your concessions. Is this as magical as, say, the MoviePass model? No, it's not, but it's a good deal. It's a very good deal. And you don't have to deal with a shady company like MoviePass. You don't have to worry about the service disappearing next week. It's actually the service run by the movie theater chain, so you know what you're getting. I'm telling you, if you live near a Cinemark, you can't carry a big bag in with you, but if you live near a Cinemark, this to me sounds like a really good deal. This is a really good deal. You're saving a bunch of money, and you don't have to worry about it being a shady company. You don't have to worry about it disappearing next week or anything like that. It's not bad. So getting to Zapata's question too is, should we see or will we see more movie theaters start to enact their own kind of loyalty program like this, their own kind of movie club deal? And I believe the answer to that is yes. And here's why I like this move by Cinemark so much. I have been arguing for a while that the movie theater industry needs to start looking at doing things not to increase their profits, but to increase getting more people back to the theaters. For too long, the movie theater industry and the movie industry in general has been trying to just make more money off their existing fan base. What they should be doing is not worrying about making more money, but increasing their fan base and getting more people back into the theaters. That, I believe, should be the target. And a thing like this that is specifically designed to get people back into the movie theaters, this is a great move. And it's moves like this that if AMC and Regal and Landmark and other major theaters chains start to follow suit, these types of services could kill those other types of movie services. That maybe not be as good of a deal, but MoviePass can't sustain what it's doing. It's just that simple. It will not be able to sustain what it's doing. I love this move by Cinemark. I think this is a fantastic thing, and I hope it sets a precedent and a trend for other movie theaters as well. I'll keep using the MoviePass as long as they're around, for sure. But if you're not a MoviePass member, you're not a Sinemia member, stuff like that, and you live near a Cinemark, I say check this out, and then please email me, tweet me, and let me know what your experience has been with a movie club like this, because it sounds pretty damn good to me. It sounds really damn good to me, as a matter of fact. Okay, guys, that'll do it for the main topics here today. It's now time, though, for us to get into a new segment of the show called the Movie News Feed, where I try to keep you guys caught up to date on other things going on in the movie news that may not be big enough for me to talk about and make a big deal out of, but it is certainly big enough for us to talk about in general and to get you caught up to speed. So here is today's Movie News Feed. Starting things off, Kevin Smith was doing a couple of shows in Glendale, California yesterday. He had a 6 p.m. and a 9 p.m. He had to cancel his second show, rush to the hospital. Turns out he had a massive heart attack. He had 100% cloggage in one of his arteries. Fortunately, though, Kevin Smith, they got him to the hospital on time. He is recovering now. He reports that if he didn't cancel his second show, he probably would have died. It's interesting to note here, too, that I had a similar heart attack to what Kevin Smith had a couple of years ago. Fortunately, I only had a 90% blockage as opposed to his 100% blockage, but fortunately, we both made it out alive. All right, let's move on to the next item. And the next item, there is an unsubstantiated report floating around that Superman actor Henry Cavill is looking to negotiate a contract extension with Warner Brothers in playing the Man of Steel after his current contract expires following his next appearance as the character. It should be repeated that this is a rumor at best. However, certain factors do make it plausible. First of all indications are that Warner Brothers is going to reboot, or isn't going to reboot, the current DCU like they obviously should. And Cavill has been generally liked by playing the character, despite mixed reactions to the films. Personally, I think Cavill is a great Superman, and if they're not going to do the smart thing by rebooting the DCEU, then I think you gotta renegotiate and give a new contract to Henry Cavill to keep playing Superman. All right, next up, Rise of the Planet of the Apes director Matt Reeves is now developing his first movie for Netflix called Life Sentence. Via coming soon, the film tells a story of a world where instead of sending criminals to prison, the justice system erases their memories. The film will focus on a man who has had his memory erased, who finds himself trying to reconcile his past actions and relationships. Will this interfere with Matt Reeves doing his Batman movie? Probably not. From what I understand, he's just going to write and produce this new movie, but you never know. Let's keep our eyes on this and see how this develops. All right, next up. Well, just when it was starting to look like the Dark Tower franchise was dead, it springs back to life again. According to reports, the series, which was to cross movies and television landscapes, has found a TV home in Amazon. The last time he was asked about it, actor Idris Elba, who was supposed to appear in the TV show, said he had no clue what was going on. Is Idris Elba still in the plans for the future of the Dark Tower? We don't know, but we'll keep our eyes open. But it looks like everything's moving forward for Dark Tower, at least on the television front. And finally, Dunkirk has to be considered the favorite to win the sound categories at the Oscars this year now. From Variety, Christopher Nolan's World War II thriller Dunkirk walked away with top honors for sound mixing from the 54th Annual Cinema Audio Society this Saturday night. The film, which received 8 Oscar nominations, including Best Sound Editing and Best Sound Mixing, previously received the British Academy Sound Prize and an award from the Motion Picture Sound Editors Organization. It looks like if there's going to be any film that is a lock in any categories this year, it looks like it is definitely going to be Dunkirk for sound. And that will do it for today's installment of the Movie News Feed. All right, guys, well, listen. We've got about 10 or 12 minutes left here on the show, so I want to do what I like to do on most days here. I'm going to go over to take your live questions. Whole bunch of you guys in the live chat board right now talking it up. Let's get to your live questions in the chat board and see what you guys are saying. By the way, guys, if you have not sent in a live chat yet, please don't send any more. I've got as many as I can handle right now. Cut off the live chat questions. Don't send in any more. All right, we're going to get things going here with Curtis Lopez. And Curtis Lopez writes, "Happy birthday, John." Thank you so much, Curtis. "Does it annoy you when people say they refuse to see a movie because it's old, black and white, or in a foreign language? It's one of my biggest pet peeves." Well, no, I gotta say, Curtis, it doesn't annoy me. It doesn't bother me. I feel bad for them. I mean, because, hey, man, look, you are depriving yourself of some really good films. You're depriving yourself of some of the best films of all time, but, hey, your movie taste is your movie taste. And if older films don't appeal to you, if black and white films don't appeal to you, if foreign language films don't appeal to you, that's your taste. And if that's your taste, then that's your taste. So, no, it doesn't annoy me that people feel that way. I think it's unfortunate, and I feel bad that they're going to miss out on some really good movies. But no, it never bothers me that somebody's tastes in movies are different than mine. That never bothers me. Shouldn't let it bother you either, man, because, you know, we all have different tastes. Adam Griffin writes, "Thoughts go out to Kevin Smith. Hope he makes a full recovery. Dogma is still my favorite of his. What are your 3 favorites of his in no particular order?" Well, yeah, look, Kevin Smith is probably, even though he doesn't make my favorite movies, he's one of my favorite filmmakers. He's just inspiring, and he's a great storyteller. But anyway, by far my favorite Kevin Smith movie is Clerks 2. And it's the movie that inspired me to make my own movie. Clerks 2 is by far my favorite Kevin Smith film, followed by Chasing Amy, followed by the first Clerks. And he's got several others that I really like as well, but my favorite of his certainly is Clerks 2. It just really hit home to me at a particular time in my life. It's rash and rude, but it's also thoughtful at the same time if you really watch it and take in the story. So I really like Clerks 2. Amin writes, "Happy birthday, John. Hope you had fun in Vegas." Yes, and you know what? I should say a special thank you to Caesars Entertainment and to my Caesars rep. His name's Alex Ann, for facilitating a great weekend birthday for me, my wife, and some of my friends. They put us up out in Vegas this weekend, had a fabulous time. Thank you to everybody at Caesars Entertainment. So, hey, guys, if you're going to, they didn't pay me to say this, but I'm going to say it. If you're going to go to Vegas, stay at a Caesars Entertainment hotel. You will not regret it. All right, Charles Harkins writes, "Can I get an abbreviated Annihilation review?" Okay, it's not going to be popular because everybody seems to love it. I think it's a movie, here's the abbreviated version. I think it's a movie that tried a little too hard, and you could tell it was trying a little too hard, but that's my abbreviated version of Annihilation. Jeff Kang writes, "Does Leia have to die if recast by another actress?" No, but I think their plan has always been, I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe their plan has been for Leia to die in Episode 9, even before Carrie Fisher passed away tragically. I believe that has been their plan, and if they recast Leia, which I really hope they do, then I don't believe they're going to change their plan. I think they're going to kill her off, not because they have to, but because that was always the plan. So that's what I think they're going to do. If they recast her, and I don't think they're going to recast her, unfortunately. Jordan Cadwell writes, "If you were an Academy member, which original screenplay would you vote for? Lady Bird, Big Sick, Get Out, Shape, or 3 Billboards? It's a tight year." Yeah, I'm going to go Big Sick. I'm not necessarily saying Big Sick is my favorite movie out of those films, but the screenplay for Big Sick I thought was wonderful. I enjoyed it a lot, so the one that would get my vote is Big Sick. All right, let's move on to the next one. Maya Demi just sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Maya. John Miha writes, "Where was Cap in Black Panther?" Who knows? He just wasn't there. That is one of the problems that always comes up with these shared cinematic universe films. One movie opens and everybody's like, well, where was Thor? Where was Black Widow? Where was this person? Where was Cap? I mean, we know Cap at the end of Civil War was in Wakanda, but that was you know, he just happened to be there for a minute. Just because I'm in a 7-Eleven today doesn't mean you're going to go into 7-Eleven tomorrow and find me still there. So who knows where Cap was? I'm sure we'll find out in Infinity War in 9 weeks. Cameron Peterson writes, have you seen Tommy Wiseau's new movie trailer? Oh, yeah, I think what's it called? Best Friends or something like that. It looks terrible. I mean, I don't know. It certainly looks like a more plausible real movie than, say, The Room was. It certainly looks like a more real, indie, gritty kind of film. It does. It looks more like a real movie than The Room ever did. It doesn't look all that good, but if you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. It's called Best Friends. The trailer just dropped, I think, a day or two ago. Yang Knirch writes, what happened to superhero fatigue? No kidding, right? Like all the time. I am telling you, for the last 7 years, I have been getting questions every week and you know, insight from people saying, superhero fatigue setting in. Superhero fatigue. No one wants to see superhero movies anymore. We just had the second biggest second weekend of all time just happened. Yeah. Where is this supposed superhero fatigue? There is none at this point. Maya writes, happy birthday. Thank you so much, Maya. The Olympics are over. Finally, a new Lucifer episode tonight. No kidding. I have missed it. Thanks for making me addicted. I was sick a month ago and binged it 2 times. Guys, I know you hear me talk about it all the time, but thank you, Maya, for bringing it up. I cannot recommend Lucifer enough. It's not the greatest television show ever made. Don't get me wrong, but it's really engaging and it's fun. And the dude, I believe his name is Tom Ellis, is the name of the actor. The dude who plays Lucifer, the devil, is my favorite. Makes that my favorite character on television right now. Not my favorite show of all time or anything like that, but my favorite character right now on television. He is so great to watch in the role. Please do like Maya. Follow Maya's example and check out Lucifer. I don't think you'll be sad that you did. ZOMG Ruler writes, you find it annoying when Snyder's called a hack? Well, look, I don't think any director should be called a hack, per se. Like maybe like, who's the guy who did Knight's Dungeon Siege or whatever it is? Uwe Bolt. Not Uwe Bolt. Uwe, what's his last name? Everybody mispronounces his name, calls him Uwe, but it's not Uwe, it's Uwe, actually. You might want to call him, yeah, it does. It annoys me when people call Zack Snyder a hack. I don't think he's a hack. Did he have all the success in the world with his DC films? No. But he's made some wonderful movies. And let's not even count my beloved Man of Steel. Let's not even count that. He's made some really good movies. He's swung and missed a couple of times. All directors do. I think anybody who just flat out calls Zack Snyder a hack is kind of showing their bias, that they're more of probably a corporate zombie slave Marvel fanboy and hate DC. Yes, it does annoy me when people call Zack Snyder a hack. But hey, you know what? It's if you don't think he's a good filmmaker, you don't think he's a good filmmaker. It's all subjective. I just don't like the term hack. I think that's used way too liberally. Micah T writes, hey, John, missed the show this weekend. Hope you had fun. I did have fun. Thank you so much. My question is, over under 100 total words spoken in A Quiet Place. I'll take the over because I believe there's going to be a lot of narration. So I think we're going to hear, I think we'll take the over, not a ton, but I'm going to take the over. And I think we're going to get like an opening 5 or 10 minutes that sets up the world that they live in. And I think just in those opening 5 or 10 minutes, we'll get more than 100 words. So I'm going to take the over on 100. Good question, though. I'm dying to see this movie, Quiet Place. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with it. Ben Heyusa writes, happy birthday, John. I want to always wish you the best moving forward with you and also Anne, too, as a fellow Filipino. Your shows always keep me interested and worth listening to. Well, thank you so much, Ben. And just for the record, so everybody knows what Ben's talking about, I am not Filipino. White face. But my wife, Anne, is. And my brother-in-law, Ray, who is kicking around here somewhere, he is also Filipino. Obviously, they're brother and sister. So thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that. Charlie Gray writes, happy birthday. You get to interview a famous person from the past. What is your first question? Oh, I don't know, man. I'd have to think about that. That is something I would seriously have to sit down and think about and ponder, like, first of all, who would I interview from the past? Second of all, which question would I ask? Not something I can think of off the top of my head. It's a very good question, but not something I can think of off the top of my head, unfortunately, Charlie. Thanks for asking the question, though. But it's a good question for you guys in the chat board. You could interview one person from history. Who would it be? And which question would you ask? Just jump into the chat board and let everybody else know what you guys think. Chris Warden writes, happy birthday, John. Thank you, Chris. Now, here's something to make you feel really old. The Wedding Singer turned 20 years old last week. Oh, my goodness. I mean, it was bad enough when we learned that this year, The Dark Knight turns 10 years old. I mean, I don't know about you guys. It feels like just yesterday. The Wedding Singer does not feel like just yesterday. But, oh my God, it does not feel like it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago that The Wedding Singer came out. Okay, yeah, Chris, you got me. That's a pretty good make you feel old statistic right there. Bomb Squad writes, do you think MoviePass will survive past 2019? No, I do not. It's possible. It's certainly possible. But I agree with, I'm starting to agree more and more with AMC on this. They just look less and less feasible as a business. Their whole business model is to try to build up enough of people like me as users that they can use this as leverage to blackmail the movie theaters into cutting them in on their action. It's basically the mob moving into a neighborhood and demanding protection money from the local stores. That's what MoviePass is trying to be. It's a good service, so I use the card. Hypocrisy. But I mean, it is a good service to use, but no, I don't see them surviving past 2019. Luke1234 writes, did you run into any fans in Vegas? Happy birthday. I did run into several fans in Vegas, which was a lot of fun. It was really cool. One of the places we went was Topgolf, and I had one of the guys there come up and talk to me there, run into some people in the casinos, run into some people at one or two of the clubs that we went to. It's always great. It's always honestly humbling and really, really cool when I get to run into people who take the time to come up and say hi. I always appreciate it very much. Thanks for asking, Luke. PC P Cheek writes, do you still watch The Walking Dead? I will catch up on, like, I don't make a note of it I don't even know what day of the week it's on. Is it on Sunday? I never sit down on Sunday night to watch it. But, you know, hey, when I've got some time to kill and I'm going through the shows I have, you know, on my Hulu or backed up on one of my apps, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll get caught up on Walking Dead a little bit. But it's not like one of my must-watch TV shows. You know what I'm saying? But I'll watch it. Yeah, I'll definitely watch it. Anthony C. writes, do you think that the MCU villains have gotten better with the last few films? Ego, Vulture, Hela, Killmonger. I don't count Ego in that. I didn't think Ego was a very good villain, to be honest with you. I wasn't thrilled. I mean, it's great having, you know, Kurt Russell play him. That was great. But I didn't think Ego was all that great of a villain, to be honest with you. However, Vulture, yes. Hela, yes. Killmonger, yes. It does seem like the MCU is ramping up their use of their villain and starting to do a little bit of a better job, because that's traditionally been one of MCU's big weaknesses, is how they've leveraged their villains. It's been on purpose, but still that's one of the weaknesses. But I do think they're improving. Matthew Leach writes, happy birthday, John. Thank you so much. Thoughts on Roxanne Gay tweeting that WB/DC, she'd write Batgirl for them. Then Michelle Wells, Vice President of Content Strategy at DC Entertainment, telling her to email her. I don't know. I mean, what thoughts am I supposed to have? Look, so somebody gets online begging for a job. Okay, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But it's just another person getting online begging for a job. And somebody's saying, email me. Great. I don't know that there's really much to comment there on. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Look, I already think they know what they want their Batgirl movie to be. I don't buy for a second that Joss Whedon didn't have a story. I think they had their story, and I think they do have their story. You guys know that that's what I believe. I believe they already have their story. So, hey, it's never hurts to tell somebody to say, email me. So that's fine. But honestly, I wouldn't read too much into that. I really wouldn't. Anthony C. writes, thoughts on Star Trek Discovery Season 1 and finale? Well, I've already commented on that, Anthony, but I will say this. I like the show very, very much. I enjoyed the finale. I thought the way they used the Mirror Universe stuff was really creative and really good. And despite the fact that I didn't think the show was going to be any good, I quite enjoyed Season 1. Bomb Squad writes, do you think Marvel will release Infinity War trailer 2 tomorrow, as Paul Bettany, Sebastian Stan, and Karen Gillan are all set to appear on Good Morning America? If not, when? It's possible. Now that Black Panther has done its second weekend, they can now start to focus a little bit more on Infinity War and ramping up that. But really, I mean, Super Bowl just happened. It wasn't that long ago that we just got our first trailer. So I don't know. I'll say it's 50-50 that we could get a new trailer tomorrow. 50-50. I don't think they need to put out another one yet. I think they could probably still wait another week or two before we see it. But who knows? I mean, with all of them appearing on the show, it's possible. D. Copeland Patience writes, Black Panther was so unique, I'm worried Avengers will go back to their old formula with a CGI villain and underdeveloped characters. Well, I mean, look, it all depends on the thing. Like, for instance, Infinity War, you have to have a CGI character. Thanos is going, you have to make Thanos CGI. That's just the way it is. Look, Killmonger was CGI for a good portion of the film that he was in his Black Panther suit. CGI is CGI. And look, some movies are going to be better served if you don't develop the villain as much. There's not a single formula here, D, where it's like, every movie has to have this percentage of the hero, this percentage of the villain, this percentage of... No. Every movie is different. With Black Panther, it worked best using Killmonger the way they used him. However, there are movies that, hey, you know what? All you need is to have the villain there and their presence there. Let's keep most of the focus of this movie on the hero. The first Iron Man film is a great example of that. You know, Warmonger was a weak villain, underutilized, all that kind of stuff, but that's okay because it allowed them to put more focus and energy and attention on Tony and just his story, which made for an overall better film. Iron Man 1 is a great example of not putting that much attention on the villain made the movie better. Black Panther is a good example of putting more attention on the villain, and that did make the movie better. So every film is unique and different, and we can't just think that there's one formula and one set of percentages that has to apply to every film and that will make the movie good. No, every film is unique, every story is unique, and the way they used it in Black Panther was fantastic. The way they used it in Iron Man 1 was fantastic. Each movie has to be approached in its own way to figure out how much and how, in general, should the villain be used. And there's going to be a different answer for that for every single question. So Marvel's got a pretty good track record. Let's just see where they go from here. Good question, though, D. Next one, Jonathan Zuniga just sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I got 3 minutes left here, guys. Any questions I don't get to, by the way, guys, that are in the super chat right now, I will start off this afternoon's open mic show with any questions I don't finish off, just so you're aware of that. Ali Hussein writes, best wishes, John. Thank you so much. I am still in shock. I don't think you meant chalk. I am still in shock that Black Panther got more money than what Justice League got in 3 months. Seriously, Warner Brothers DC needs to reboot the franchise. It is a shocking number. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. It is a shocking number that Black Panther made more money in 4 days. Repeat that. Black Panther made more money in 4 days in the United States and North America than Justice League did in its entire 13-week run. That's a staggering number. Now, granted, Black Panther made more money in 4 days than a hell of a lot of movies do in their entire run. So let's keep that in mind. It's not like, oh, poor Justice League is the only movie to never live up to what Black Panther made. But again, it's just that Justice League should have been a contender for the $2 billion club. Not that it should have automatically gotten there, but Justice League should have been a contender for the $2 billion club. And it just kind of highlights how it underperformed. Matt writes, after watching Black Panther, I had to watch Fruitvale Station and Creed. Michael Jordan is a sick actor. Black Panther is on top now for my favorite MCU movies. It's still not in my favorite. It might be in my top 5. Black Panther may be in my top 5. But I'm telling you what, this combination of Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan as director and actor is legit and killer. You're talking Fruitvale Station, amazing. You're talking Creed, amazing. And you're talking Black Panther, amazing. I mean, the streak that these guys are on as a director-actor combo is just incredible. And I cannot wait to see what Coogler does next. I'm becoming such a big fan of Ryan Coogler. He's just got this consistency about him. And let's just see how it all turns out. All right. Final question I will take. And once again, guys, anybody who has chat still waiting to go, they will be the first questions asked in the open mic a little bit later this afternoon. The final question I'm going to take here today. Should there be more gay superheroes in film? Why DC not make new studio like Marvel? Also, happy birthday, and it's Zuniga. You're talking about your last name, Jonathan. It's Zuniga. You said it wrong last time. Well, look, don't take it personally, Jonathan. I mispronounce every name. I'll find a way to mispronounce John Smith. You know this. So don't take it personally that I mispronounced it. Zuniga, you said it wrong last time. I feel discriminated. No offense to you. I discriminated against. I'm not going to take multiple questions in one question. Should there be more gay superhero movies? I've said this before. I will say it again. Movie studios are not the morality police, nor should they be. There is no movie that studios should make. You are obligated to make this movie. No. Studios are a business, just like any other business. And as a business, their primary function is to make money. What we will see, because the only color I always talk about, the only color movie studio sees is green. That's all they see. When movie studios see and believe that there is a larger audience, as our society matures, and there's a larger audience willing to go out to a movie with, say, like a gay lead superhero, they're going to make them in spades. I'm telling you right now, Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, Lionsgate, Sony, they're all going to line up to have their own gay superhero movie. They're going to, because they want the money. The moment they believe the movie-going audience is ready to support it, they will jump all over that. They will be all over that. If they still are concerned that maybe the audience wouldn't come out to support it, then they'll be more hesitant. They're not in the business of throwing money away. So I'm always I cringe a little bit. Not that it's a cringeworthy question. I understand totally where you're coming from, Jonathan. But I got to admit, I cringe a little bit when people say, whenever the word should come up. Studios should do this. Studios should do that. I always get a little bit cautious because we don't say that about gene-making companies. We don't say that about cola-making companies. Nobody says, oh, that furniture-making place should do plaid. They should have a responsibility to do plaid. Look, what studios should have a responsibility for is not to discriminate. If you're going to, look for directors or actors, whatever, you shouldn't just automatically all look at, straight white guys. And that's it, to the exclusion of everybody else. You shouldn't, they have a responsibility to not discriminate in their practices. But as far as to what content they should make, they are going to do whatever they think will make them money. And I kind of get that. I kind of understand that. All right, guys, that will do it for me for today's installment of the John Campea Show, back from my birthday weekend holiday in Vegas. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to sit in on the show and join me for this. I had a wonderful time doing it. I've missed doing the show. By the way, guys, listen, if you enjoy watching my shows, do me a favor and you want to support the show, do me a favor, head on over to www.patreon.com/John Campea. There, you'll get all the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter, like what the heck is a Patreon supporter, also how being a Patreon supporter keeps my show on the air, and also what benefits there are to being a Patreon supporter. And by the way, I'm just letting you guys know, for those of you who are Patreon supporters already, and thank you for those of you who are, a little bit later, I'm going to be having a behind-the-scenes video with myself, Jonathan Voico, and Ray Ora, the two guys who have started working with me. They've worked with me for years at the other companies I've worked with. They're working with me here now. I'm going to have behind-the-scenes video with those guys. I'm going to share with those of you who are my Patreon supporters a little bit later. Thanks for joining me. And you guys noticed that we started the show with some email questions. How do you get an email question on the show? It's simple. You just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Put the word topic in the subject line, and make sure you keep your emails to 90 words or less. All right, guys, that will do it for me for this installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's John Campea, and until my next video, bye-bye. Well, I blew that. Bye-bye.